everybody, it's Brooke. I hope you're having a great day. I am back to work in our spring garden journal with the curved spine that's also going to be a floating spine. So excited. I know I said when we made the spine piece and the covers that the next part would be sewing in the signatures, but there are some pages that need to be worked on before we can fold them into our signatures. So today we're going to work with photo sleeves. Hard to see and glary, I'm sorry, but they're plastic. I have a ton of these that I've gotten at thrift stores and clearance and just old photo albums. I think these are Snap brand. Two of them are. I've got 3 different ones, but they're things I got on clearance or, as I said, at the thrift store. Or I just have albums laying around that have empty pages. So I'm going to use those and a couple different ideas on how to incorporate these photo sleeves into your journal, because I love that. I love a place to put photos or just some memorabilia or, embellishments, whatever you want to do. And so I thought we would do it. It does help if you have a sewing machine. If you don't, or you don't sew, you can tack things in with glue and then hand stitch. That works just fine too. I don't know if you can do this with strictly glue. I just don't know if it will stick because the plastic is so slick. So you could give it a try, but I recommend probably using a sewing machine or hand sewing. So the first way that I want to do this is I have a photo sleeve and I have just a regular brown paper lunch bag. I was hoping that I could run this through my Big Shot and emboss it, but the embossed bags are awfully fragile. They tear very easily. I thought I had one right here to show you, but nope. As usual, I'm not prepared. This paper is awfully thin, and it does great when you're just attaching the sleeve, but if you emboss it also, it just gets way too fragile. So I thought maybe after I put the sleeve on, I might do some modeling paste or something on this side. So we shall see. But at any rate, we need to get it attached to go in our signature. And let's see, I just need a pen. I'm going to cut this down to size. So I'm measuring it to our book width. That's the width that our signatures will be. Put it right about there. I'm sorry, I'm sure you can't see that, but it's approximate, it's a guess, just about the width that we want it. And I'll move our book to the side and get out our cutter. And I'll just trim this down. Now, before I do anything, I do like to make sure I know which way is the top. And I check that fairly frequently just because it's easy to put it in upside down. And that's kind of a hard one to fix. I will save this because that would make a really cool pocket in my journal. Just a little double pocket. It's open right there, but that works just fine. So I'll keep it to do something with. I'll move this out of the way. Now what I want to do is insert this into the gusset of the lunch bag, and I'm going to put it down as far as I can get it to go. Sometimes the paper is all bunched up down in this bottom corner, but I want to get it down as far as I can. And because we cut off some of the width, this pocket is going to be more narrow than it was, obviously, but that's fine. You can put narrower things in there. And I think actually, it would be a good idea to cut the bag down to size before we sew. So I will just make a little mark right there, the height of our pocket, and we'll cut that one off too. Probably just easier to do now. I don't think it really matters, but it seemed like the thing. So there we go. Okay, we'll go back to inserting this. This is a number 1 and the easiest one of all. And I just want to put that in there again as far down as you can get it without buckling it. You don't want anything to buckle or shift because then it lays funny in your journal. Get Get that as straight as we can. And I'm going to take my handy dandy Dollar Tree clips. You can use quilter's clips if that's what you have. I used to try to just catch it with some glue, but the glue doesn't seem to hold terribly well. So I just put the clip on at the top, the very top. I'll start stitching down below, do a couple stitches to catch the plastic, and then take the clip off, back up, go all the way to the top, and then go all the way back down to the bottom. Okay, so this is good and flat, and it looks like it's relatively straight. So I'm going to pause you guys. I can get my sewing machine under the camera, but you still can't see what I'm sewing. So I'll just go do that, and I'll be right back. And I'm back. I got it sewed all the way down here. Sewed, sewn, right? I got it sewn all the way down here and caught that plastic sleeve in there nice and snug. And since I was at the machine anyway, I went ahead and stitched down this side. I just used a wide zigzag. I think you can see that. And so now we have a little pocket here as well as the whole paper bag. I do have a video where we took a lunch bag like this and embellished it, and I will link that video down below because that same embellishment technique would work beautifully on this. But at this point, I'm just going to take my sleeve and fold it over again, trying to be relatively straight. And this plastic is fairly tough, so I reinforce that crease that I just made, that fold, and I push it down pretty hard, and then I will put something heavy on top of this to start training that fold. I did not fold it exactly at the edge of the bag. I went out maybe 1/8 of an inch, and that way you have a little bit of give in there when you go to sew it in the signature. So that is the whole premise of that. And while I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and put a notch in our paper bag. Just take a scrap of paper. The lunch bag is mighty thin. So we'll just take a scrap of our glue paper and pop it in there. This will help the hole punch do its thing. Guess that's way taller than it needs to be. Let's try that again. Okay. So we will just eyeball, shoot for the middle, hope for the best. I'd say that's middle-ish. Perfect. That was not bad. That was pretty close. So now we have a thumb notch there. When we get back to it, I will ink that. And so we have that pocket, we have that pocket, and then we have the other side of the folio, which will be this amazing photo sleeve. So we'll go ahead, I'll put this under something, and we'll move on to the next one. Let's do, oh, this one's a good one. Let's use this beautiful piece of Florentine paper that I got from my darling friend Michelle at Your Crafting Source. Michelle has awesome prices, awesome things. I say it all the time. I will also link Michelle down below. If you need any supplies, go check her out. But I got this from her from quite a long time ago, I think. So the first thing I want to do is get our Florentine paper cut to the same height as our pocket. So I will put a little mark right there. And maybe we'll give it a decal-y edge. That'll be pretty. So I'll put my tear ruler right there. Try to get it straight. That looks pretty straight. And this will be a great scrap for collaging, so I will absolutely keep this because I just think that pattern is gorgeous with those little hints of gold. Yummy! Sleeve is sticking to my sweater. Okay, so now our Florentine paper and our pocket are the same height. Perfect. I am simply going to... Which direction do I want to do it? I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do here. I'm simply going to stitch our pocket onto the Florentine paper, onto the edge. But I think I want to do it... Oh, see? Not the right side up. Haha, keep checking. I think I want to do it... Do I? Oh, decisions. I should have decided before I turned on the camera. Okay, I think I want to do it on this side. And I want to have it on the left-hand side here. So we will do exactly the same thing if we can. Wow, this page protector, the photo sleeve, is really thick. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Clip that on at the very top. Spread everything out, smooth it out, make sure it's nice and straight. And put a clip down here at the very bottom. Okay. And I'm going to go and stitch right down there again. I do not have our folded piece, that's the seam that's in the photo sleeve. I don't have it right up against the edge of the paper. I've moved it out a little bit again so we have some give for our sewing in our signature. So hold on, I'll go stitch this and be right back. And just like magic, it's done. So you can see here, I did another fairly wide zigzag right down the edge, left a little bit of space to fold our photo sleeve. So I'll go ahead and do that. While I was sewing, I was thinking, what should we do? Because we have this whole beautiful length of this Florentine paper. So we could do a tri-fold. They're all different manners of things. If you play with it and fold it, there are just so many different things. And I was trying to think of something I hadn't done before. So again, I'm just reinforcing where I want that to fold and get sewn into the signature. Okay, I was thinking, what if we folded the Florentine paper over like that. So if we fold it like that and stitch again along there, that will cover up our seam. We'll have a tall, skinny pocket here, and then an extra page that'll almost be like a tip-in. Does that make any sense? Let me show you what I mean. I'll just do it. How about that? Do it rather than trying to explain it. So the first thing I want to do before I do that is, if it's going to be a pocket, sorry, I tore off some packing tape before we started because I know it makes a terrible noise. And it's a good thing to cover up those seams with, because it theoretically stuff could catch. So I'm just going to run that piece of packing tape all along the top right there, which will reinforce our top, and it will also cover up that seam where we sewed the photo sleeve onto the page, because that's a pretty good lip right there. We don't want anything to get caught. So that'll work beautifully. And then, let's see, what do I want to do here? I want to fold that over just to make a narrow pocket. I'm trying to get it straight. Lining up the bottom and hopefully the top. Like that. I'm going to fold right there. And then I am going to stitch again on the same line, or right next to the line where I stitched before. So I don't think I need to clip it on this one. My photo sleeve is not necessarily perfectly straight, but it is okay. It will work. And they are a little tricky because they're so slippery. So hold on, I'll be right back again. Back again. And look at this, came out beautifully. So I just stitched right down where I had already stitched, going through both layers, and then zipped right across the bottom. So we have this beautiful pocket right here. It's a tall, skinny pocket. I love a tall, skinny tag. And then this will fold here, trying to get its memory going. So really what will happen, actually you could put this into the signature a couple different ways, but I'm thinking what I would do is fold it like that. So we'll have this beautiful tall pocket on one side, and then you'll turn the page. I have a couple pages, however many pages you want. Go like that. Then you'll have the full photo sleeve right here, and this one is not divided. It's a great big one, which is super fun. You can put a giant journaling tag in there or a big photo. And then you fold that page, and then you've got a whole nother page with the beautiful Florentine paper. So I love how that one came out, and that was really easy. Okay, so once again, just trying to remind the photo sleeve where it wants to fold. Come on, you really do. And what I will do is when I'm done with these, before I put them into the signature, I'll put a heavy book on top of all of them, and then something heavy on top of that, and just let it sit overnight probably to get that photo sleeve whipped into shape pretty good. So there's that one. So that's 2 that we've done. Now this last one is using a junk mail envelope. I thought this would be fun. You know I love a junk mail envelope. And what I did was I just cut off the side that had the flap on it because the flap was all torn up anyway. So it is open. I cut the top and the bottom enough to make it the same size as our photo sleeve. It actually isn't. Apparently I did not do a great job at that. So I cut off a sliver at the top, and I'm going to cut off another sliver at the bottom. Whoops. And I want my window up here just arbitrarily for no reason. I just do. So we'll grab out our cutter, and we'll make that the same height as our photo sleeve. It doesn't have to be. I just want it to be. And you just adjust it to the size of your photo sleeves. And let's see, I believe this is the right width. Yep, that'll be good. That will fit in the book. So now what we're going to do is, actually we should probably look at it from the back. Yep, checking, that's the right side. The openings are going the right direction. So now, this is the place where the flap was pretty wide. So I'm trying to decide if I want to cut it down a little more. Hold on, you guys. I have to think about this for a minute. I'll be right back. All right. Had to do some mathing and stuff in my head, and I can't do that with the camera going. So I did not trim anything off this. I left it exactly the way it was. And I think what I would like to do is sew our photo sleeve right on the edge of this envelope, trying to make sure that the plastic edging doesn't go into the window. But I think it's going to make more sense if we wrap something around this edge before we sew. So I pulled out that scrap of Florentine paper that we had left over, and I think that's what we want to do. So let's see. We'll find out, won't we? Crafting on the fly. Grab out my glue stick. And I'm just going to end up wrapping this right around. Come on, you. My fingers are already sticky, and I've barely done anything. So I'll put that right to the edge of the window. Rub that down. Where's my scrubber? My presser downer. There it is. So get that pressed down. And we'll fold this over. I just think having this edge neatened up before we sew is going to help us out in the long run. So we can do that. And we'll even still have a pretty piece left over. I could have been more careful up here and not wasted so much, but it's hard to think and, you know, be practical at the same time. So we can go ahead and I'm going to cut this off. So we have another scrap left, yay. And I think we can probably miter this one. That probably is going to be a better idea, isn't it? Yep, probably a better idea. Do a little bit down here too. Fold that over and get it out of our way so that we can sew. And I did go ahead and fold it over first to see where I wanted it to go. It's easier to fold it before you glue it and get that crease mark to tell you where to fold. Sticky paper. Okay, so that has not only covered that kind of messy edge, it's going to strengthen it for us too. I just love that paper. Ah, don't you just love that paper? And because I want my window up at the top right like that, we'll turn it over. Make sure our pockets are open. on the right side. Yep. So I am going to stitch this one on the inside of the envelope. Grab my little clips. Again, here's the fold, the seam of that photo sleeve. I'm moving it out about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. One clip there. Smooth that out. Looks pretty straight. Oop, very slippery. Get that one clipped. There's no gathering or bunching or anything, so that's perfect. And let me go sew. And that one also is done. Just a simple seam right down the edge there. So the page protector will fold right there. Again, you can see I left a little bit of space, and that's where it'll get sewn into the signature. I did leave some of the threads because I like them. If the person who owns this journal doesn't care for them, well, they can just get snipped right off. So I'll go ahead and start reinforcing that fold. It does look like this one came out nice and straight. It did not move. That's good. Okay, so we have that page, and I did manage to get it right side up. Yay. And then we have our envelope, and just like you would play with any kind of junk mail envelope, you could collage all of this and collage the other side, and you could bind it into your signature here, and then you would have a double flip. You know, it would flip like that. I'm thinking I'm going to bind it into my signature here, and then probably that will close up to be a big giant pocket or maybe a side tuck, something along those lines. I think I will, while I'm thinking about it, use this last, oops, sorry for the noise, this last piece of packing tape that I pulled off, just so I don't, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I almost put it down so it would cover the window. That's no good. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have to wait and see what I decide to do with this envelope before I decide how to put the packing tape down. But I think you get the idea, and you will see what I decide to do with this one when we go to put the journal together, which really is coming up next. So we have these three that we made with the junk mail envelope, with the Florentine paper, and with our paper bag. And I think all three of those are great. Now the last thing that I need to do before I can start sewing signatures is I need one hinged page. And let me see if I have that where I wanted it. Do I have it where I want it? I do. It's the garden plan page. This is part of the kit. It's on antique grid paper with all this water stain, which I love. You can see up there, it says garden plan. So this is to plot out, you know, what you're planting where, if that's what you want to do. But I want this to be hinged so that you can pull it all the way out like that. So I am going to figure out how I want to do that, and I'll be back in 1 second, because I thought I knew, but now I don't. So I'll be back in 1 second. We'll put that one together, and we'll be all done. Hold on. Well, that hardly took a second. I turned around, and I found the title page from the original book that I was using, and I love this. So let's go ahead and use that. Beautiful, vintagey aged paper. It's got the copyright date of 42, and it's got the cool punch from the Newton Free Library from Newton, Mass. That actually is little tiny holes. I love that. So I thought that was really beautiful with the Scribner and Sons insignia, and I think that's what I want to use. And I think I'm going to very simply make it a little bit of a tuck, a very shallow tuck right along there. And our paper is actually exactly the right height for that book page. So where's my art glitter glue? This was an easier thing than I realized it would be. I do think I want to ink right along there and maybe put in a thumb notch. Very narrow. I don't know about the thumb notch. We're going to lose quite a lot of the tuck if we do that. Wish you guys could yell at me and tell me what to do. Eileen, I know you would tell me what to do if you're watching. Surprised you can't yell at me loud enough for me to hear you. A little disappointed. So I think I will go right along this edge. Oh, come on. Art glitter glue, are you going to be that way? It certainly is. Let's get out our pin. See if we can clean out that tip a little bit. Hopefully that will do it. Not great. It'll have to do. I'm going to go all the way up that side. And then across here. That's about as far as I want to go. Put this on, trying to keep the edges nice and straight. Not really pressing it down into the art glitter glue until I get it where I kind of want it. Until I've got it where I want it. Here we go. Nice. Rub that down. So we do have that narrow tuck right there, unless I just glued it. Oh, I didn't. Yay. Sometimes when you've got really old porous paper, your glue just soaks right in and doesn't want to catch. You can just go right back in, put a little bit more, give it a second. It'll grab. It will grab. It's like the first layer almost coats it, and then that second layer of glue can grab. So I like that very much. And I want to turn that over, and I think I want to run some washi tape right down here to reinforce this overlap. Where do I have my washi tape? Here's some. Right where I left it. Imagine that. And here's some beautiful brown Tim Holtz tissue tape that is very old, but I love it. Oh dear, and look at that. I love it so much I'm just about out. Bummer. Don't you hate when that happens? I have another one. This is another one. It's got some colors in it. That's fun. Run that right down there, reinforcing that seam. Grab my little tear guy. Now I find that I don't really need glue stick with the Tim Holtz tissue tape. Even though it's old, it just holds together beautifully. So, yep, we're good to go on that one, I believe. We've got our fun little tuck right there. And so what I think I would like to do is fold it right where we overlapped it. Oh, and I am noticing a pencil mark in there. I don't think I made that. Let's see if we can erase it. I only like pencil marks that I make. Probably someone who was, it was well loved as a gardening book, it would appear, so probably somebody had a pencil running around, making notes. So reinforce that. So that will sew into the signature. We have that fun tuck there. I do think I'll put a thumb notch in there. And then, let's fold that over again because that's the width of our book. That's about where we want to fold it. Give it a little bit more just to make sure it's not sticking out. Well, that's exciting. So that will go just like that. We'll sew our signature. We'll sew the signature right there. And then your garden plan will fold out like that. And you'll have this whole sheet to do your garden planning on. That makes me happy. Oop, what did I do? What did I do? There we go. There we go. So now we have 4 pages that we have changed and modified to some degree that really needed to happen before we did the signature. And now we can put our pages together and get those signatures sewn into our floating spine. So I hope you come back for the next video and we'll get right on that. Okay, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you again soon. Bye.